This is the first house. It's not finished yet.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, my thoughts on everything is proceeding well when it comes to him building his Armani village. Yes, my thoughts on everything is thinking big. He is thinking about building an entire community with structures right there on the beach where people can have a vertically integrated solution for all their repat needs. He has gotten halfway building 2 structures already, and he is looking to further develop the land by inviting other people, much like a cooperative, to invest their money so they can help build and develop the land into something which everybody can benefit from. Now, of course, building in Africa is not easy. This goes without saying. And after watching some of his videos, it's clear to see that he is struggling, even if he's not saying so. So where is he struggling? Why is he having these problems? And what is it he can do in order to make sure his buildings and not fall down in the next few years? Well, we're going to go through this today. First, I'm going to ask you, like always, to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description. I'm also going to invite you to please follow the OVERSIGHT channel, the channel that is there to help you to invest on the African continent, both safely and securely. Link also in the description. So I had a lot of people who came back at me saying that I was just jealous, you know, that I wasn't the person that was over in Ghana developing land, buying land, helping out other repats. I wasn't doing that. I'm just a critique. Yes, I am. I am just a critique. I am somebody that is there to show people that everything that you see on YouTube is not always necessarily the truth. When you see people building houses on the continent and they are not showing you the problems that they are having when they are building these houses, then they are keeping those problems from you, because there are always problems involved in developing and building infrastructure on the African continent. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, clearly. So it is not an easy task. So in today's video, I don't want to just give you my opinion. I want to show you, I want to give you some evidence to bite into, to suggest that things can be better on this work site, and that there is somebody working there that has a lack of experience. There is no site contractor. There is nobody there overwatching everything that is going on that building site to make sure that the best materials are being used. He is now back in the Netherlands. So clearly, if he's in the Netherlands now, they are doing whatever they need to do in order to build the building, whilst definitely scrimping and saving on the projects and perhaps even pocketing some of that money. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to compare 2 work sites. We're going to compare my thoughts on everything, his site, and we're going to take a look at the Arrivals building site, because when you take these 2 building sites, there is a clear difference in the workmanship. See if we can find 5 demonstrable pieces of evidence from these 2 videos. So on with the first. A lot to see just in this first video. So you can take a look on the ground. The ground is a total mess. Okay, it is a total mess. Now, a lot of people think that this is normal. But if you go to any building site in the UK or in the United States of America, this is not the way they build. They don't build in a mess. They don't build as if they are building in a tip. No, they take care of the land because they know that the land needs to be used afterwards. They don't want to contaminate the land with chemicals or any burnt objects. A lot of you guys might think that I'm nitpicking, but this is possible in Africa. It is possible to have a building site that is clean and efficient. How are you supposed to build a perfect product in an imperfect environment? And number 2, let's take a look at the structures that he is building. Guys, I'm sure you can see in here, I know that the lens that he's using is probably bent, so it's difficult to see whether this structure is straight or not, but it doesn't look straight away. I can see that there are imperfections in the brickwork.
Another thing to notice is that I've turned off the sound here, but you know, my thoughts on everything is showing us all this work because he's proud of it. You know, he has no idea because he hasn't got any clue what he's doing. You know, they can build as bad as they want and he won't see that the building is bad. So it continues, and if you take a look at what these builders have to work with, I mean, dear, I mean, these are the cheapest bricks that he probably sourced.
Now, where can I see these imperfections? In the lower half of the brickwork here, you can see that this has not been done very well. This is not a big problem when it comes to the aesthetic side. The structural side, things can get a little tricky, especially when you're building on a surface near the sea where you have a lot of corrosion, especially on concrete. So this is going to be difficult for them to maintain. And anybody else who's going to build a building near the sea, you need to think about corrosion. You need to think about building using quality products, because the better the quality of the products, the longer it's going to last. This moves us on to the types of materials that they are using. Guys, the bricks that they are using are terrible. They look like they were made by kids. I don't know where they got them from, and I would be surprised if they bought them from a building site, from a proper building site, and they had all the receipts, because these bricks look like they were handmade. They look terrible, and I'm hoping that they stand the test of time. Okay, number 4. Let's take a look at the machinery that they are using. Or should I say the lack of machinery. He does say that they have some heavy machinery. I just don't see it inside any of these videos.
They learned how to use the machines. They were using the machines perfectly, exactly how it is meant to be.
How do you learn how to use a machine and then use it perfectly? And by the way, what machines? I'm looking throughout this video, I don't see any machines.
Which is crazy. Now, my thoughts on everything is from the Netherlands. He can easily buy second-hand heavy machinery that he can send to Ghana. This will make the process of building these buildings so much easier. You don't need anything crazy heavy. A mini caterpillar will do the trick, but I don't think he actually has the budget to build this building using those types of machinery. So he is using manpower, which is okay. But do you want to buy a building that was built by somebody who didn't really have the money to build it in the first place? Let's talk some more about budget, because you can see in these renderings that he has some rather grand plans, but the reality is this. If you are struggling to build the small little buildings that you're building there that are not houses, guys, I know that you think they're houses, but I wouldn't even stay in one of these for 7 days, no longer than 7 days. They look like they are about to fall down. And I know they haven't completed finishing yet, but you know, I haven't heard him speak about power, any septic tanks. Are they going to have internet? These things are vital. They're even more important, I would say, than the actual structure itself, because you can always send a tiny house there. That's not a problem. But all the other factors which comes with living inside a space permanently, how are you going to get those things? He hasn't spoken about these things, and he hasn't spoken about even thinking about solutions to these things. And I think the reason for this is because he doesn't have any solutions. There are plenty of solutions available, but because he hasn't spoken about it, I think that he just doesn't have the budget to think about that far ahead. You can always develop land, guys. It takes a lot more to build that thing into something which is livable permanently, year round. My thoughts on everything said that many people were questioning him, and they had a right to question him. He is somebody who has kept his cards close to his chest, and he hasn't told anybody about how he is funding this project. And this is probably for one of two reasons. He either doesn't want you to know where he's getting the money from, or he doesn't have the money anyway. Either way, it sounds dodgy to me. Until the next time, please think twice. Ta-ra a bit.